Heidi-ho, everybody. It's Sunday afternoon, and I took a few days to the East Wing very much affected me. Let's just say that. And yeah, I needed the there's the handmaid. Um, yeah, I needed anyway. Um, getting myself back on keel. So um, they'll pay for all of it. They they will get justice for what they've done. And I we don't have any indication that they actually went through and saved any of that. I mean, there's like hardwood and bricking and moldings and all kinds of things that are no longer made. I mean, they're historical, they're gorgeous, and they should have been salvaged and, reused and to add that historical. But Donald is all about new is better. And that's not particularly true, especially if he's doing the building. Um, he goes for the cheapest. Except when it's something for himself. Then he splurges everything. And he's not leaving willingly. I can guarantee you that. What we kept saying his first term, that we're going to have to yank him, drag him out, we are going to have to do that this time. We absolutely will. But Steve Bannon, you may have heard him talking on an interview, and he said something about we need him to be one more term. We need one more term than this one. And they kept, for what? To seal everything up so it can never get fixed back? Mm-hmm. And she says, well, that's not, yeah, they've got plans. And not to say that they're legitimate plans or loophole shit like the replacement electors. Okay, yeah, there's plans, you can do it, but that doesn't mean legally or legitimately. And the thing is, they'd have to move fast like they did before we get to quell it. And they're banking on that. And they're banking that, oh, those damn libtards aren't gonna do nothing. They didn't learn. Well, yeah, a lot of us are qualified with firearms. You keep saying guns. That tells me, because anybody who actually has respect for firearms and such actually refers to them as firearms. Law enforcement, which includes things like not obviously sheriff, border patrol, but law enforcement also includes prisons, correctional officers and such. We train right along with the cops. At least in Arizona we did. So just because we might not own a gun, if it hits the fan and we just need to get a hold of a firearm, we can use it. And that's the whole thing. If you see the difference, y'all are saying, oh, save our guns. That's how I know you're not a serious firearm owner. Because if you grew up and you in the past have exercised the frugality of actually using a firearm as opposed to having one, you don't aim unless you intend to shoot, these kind of things. Calling them guns when they're firearms or handgun, you specify when you're around them, or you know any kind of fucking thing about them, you've gone to any kind of acquaintance with your firearms kind of thing. That's the first thing they say. They're firearms. They're either handguns, rifles, shotguns, that kind of thing. Most people don't say, where's my gun, that are in law enforcement. Most of them say, where's your weapon? Where's your firearm? So that is my first indicator if a little masked thug, you hear somebody saying, get the gun or whatever, if you say here gun or anything like that, other than weapon or firearm, y'all know they had no fucking experience and no training. Or they had training and they didn't give a flying rat's ass, and the trainers didn't give a fucking flying rat's ass. But for some of us, when we hear gun or something like that, going for your gun, usually they're going for your sidearm. But thugs pretending to be law enforcement can be rather derelict in the actual facts of said career. Gosh, you didn't go to academy, did you? It's heating up here in Jersey, partly because he wants it red, and he's wanted it for a few years. Y'all have ignored Jersey, and we're considered not super consequential in elections, but y'all have been wrong for quite some time. You should have been paying attention, because any place he has property, you should be paying attention, because he failed. Bedminster is like 30 minutes from me. That failed again another year. 30 out of 100. I don't think they've gotten it back. They may have, I don't know. Maybe now that he's back in office. But when he wasn't in office, the other year, they took his license, his liquor license for Bedminster away because he scored consistently abysmally. The fact that he even allowed it to be open. Seriously, when you're getting 30 and 40 out of fucking 100, would you pass the class, or would any other business owner, if the health inspector did that, would they not be closed down? Yeah. So I haven't checked recently, but by justice of what they deserve, Bedminster should actually be Trump's Bedminster alcohol-free golf course, resort, and cemetery. That's the other thing. They don't have that denoted as far as I know. And any property that has buried bodies of any type, it needs to be like graves. It has to be denoted publicly in front, because if somebody doesn't know and they get triggered badly about that, and they're just going to play golf or something, and then they see that and get triggered, you can't have that. But of course, this is Donald's America now, so he doesn't give a fuck if you get triggered, I guess. But that's the bug zapper. I got tired of the damn flies that came in the other week. They went and had babies, and they're just all over again. I'd gotten rid of them, so I brought that indoor bug zapper that my nephew got me a couple months ago, and I brought it in from the kitchen, because that's where flies usually by the fruit and stuff. But they've been in here because it was in there. So I thought, F you flies. I toted it and I put it back there. And now I don't see as many. But they're and I put up, not those spiral, those are a pain in the ass, but there's these papers. There's like long rectangular, and they stick just on a rib, and then you pull it, and it's like sticky paper, but it's a sheer film. And you could put it on the wall, on the corner of a window, even when the window is open, and they get stuck to it. So I put it on like the wall or side of a garbage can where the flies are going to want to, hang around by a window. And that's what you hear being zapped. The ones that aren't getting stuck to paper are getting zapped right now. We'll have that fly problem settled in the next 24 hours, I can guarantee you that. Yeah, so things are heating up here. And the other thing is I had to get my head straight, because it's not like I didn't expect it, but because of the government shutdown, the SNAP isn't coming in. Now, I usually get my SNAP on the 5th. Some people get it the 1st, 2nd, 3rd, 4th. I usually get it on the 5th of every month. So who knows if it's galvanized by then. But I actually do have a bit of a safety net because one of my sisters has asked how much I usually get, and I told her, and she's like, if you need to, if you're starting to get low, and Congress hasn't come back, and the stamps aren't in yet, let us know. We can cover you. I was like, well, you would absolutely get it back because more than likely it would be retroactive, and then I just wouldn't use the money that I normally over this, because that doesn't pay for everything. Getting the food pantry once a month and the SNAP doesn't cover everything because prices are going up. And if it might have covered everything, it's only covering 3 out of 4 weeks now. But it's okay. I started 3 months ago stocking up in the cabinet for like the canned goods. It's 4 high, an entire cabinet packed. And the upper cabinet, I've got like the box stuff, spices, tea. I don't use much at all, flour or sugar or brown sugar, but I've got it in case. I've got coffee. I don't drink that all the time. I've got stuff like that. The basics, the staple stuff, canned vegetables, canned even potatoes. Well, they're not my favorite, but if there's no fresh potatoes, it's better than nothing. They're not so bad if you use it for mashed potatoes or rotten or something. You know what I'm saying? Or for a soup or something, so it'll fall apart and thicken. It's not like I'm gonna be hungry. I know there's other people also like that. I don't know who actually thought it might get there, or the stamps would just be cut. But sorry, I keep moving you. But like I said, I have been. Same thing with the toiletries and stuff. I've got a couple of tubes of toothpaste. I've got 2 backup shampoo. That kind of stuff. So that kind of stuff. The cats. I feed them either way. I'll order their supplies before anything. And one thing I'm passing along, if you do have SNAP, if you have anything left on your SNAP, use it. Because some places were saying they could, when November 1st comes and like the new ones they could just like zero out the accounts. So I don't know if that's a feasibility or not. But, I mean, if you got like 40 or 50, maybe go buy some produce or milk or something if you don't need bigger things. Just, just in case. I don't have any powdered or shelf milk, but, like, one item or something is not gonna break, if I pay for a few things of food in cash, which I may have to. But if you go to pantries and stuff, if they say you can get 4 vegetables, 2 from this shelf, 2 from that shelf, and you don't need them because you have enough for the next month, take them anyway. Because you might need them. You might have to have a little stockpile. Even if it doesn't get to like, big, huge stockpile, you might need some type of stockpile. So, I would take it. I've got a turkey in the freezer from last year. But I was going to give it away over the summer, but now I'm just holding it in case. And it's getting cool enough for cooking in the oven, for 5 hours or something. Isn't going to be that big of a deal. The late afternoon, you put it in, cook by the time you want to crash it. It's cooked and cooled and put away. So, if you go and do protests, this is something I'm going to have to do. Get a Faraday bag for your phone. So even if it's not shut off, nothing can be tracked. through it. It's like those RDIF, I think they were, those little things that you put your cards in that they don't, it came, like our Snap card came with it. Yeah, the case. And so if it's in this, they can't grab anything. Besides, I also put it in a in a plastic sleeve. So try to obscure as much as possible. They actually have these glasses I was reading that you wear them and they fuck with the facial imaging. And they just look like regular glasses. So I guess you can get them for just clear lens too. But the Faraday bags, you probably, if you go to protests, on the 1st I'll be ordering one. Just things like that. The other thing is use your regular phone with that so you can message each other if you need to. But at the same time, maybe when you're, because people are like, well, when you take pictures, you want to take pictures and video, especially if something's happening. What about that? Well, I just found 2 of my phones, old phones. And here's the other one. I just have to go off the charger. See, I'm charging it. So to take pictures and video, you don't have to have it attached to an internet. And to get it onto your computer, to upload it, to load it, you do it by plug it in with a wire with a cable anyway. Plug it in the phone and whoop, plug it into the computer and get it on to your laptop, or I have a desktop. So I'm charging them now, and I'm getting reacquainted with them because that's not a bad idea. Once I get a Faraday bag, just keep that little bastard safe because that's your main phone, and also my main phone also has, this is where the phone goes, I'm using it right now, to do short. And so this is always on me, even if it's in the bra vault, when I'm out, pocket or whatever. So it's the phone and the cards and your money, everything's right there. So if y'all want to grab my purse, go ahead and grab it. You ain't getting the shit that matters most and probably why you're grabbing it to begin with. So, but yes, and I'm going to take both those phones, just grab one and use it for filming. Plus I've got 4 power banks now, so as long as I bring them fully charged, I not only have extra power if somebody's inflatable costume runs down their batteries, you can use a power bank on them. And if you start with the power bank, you can get through 2 hours and it'll still be blowing fine. So you could also use those to charge. So if you do like one phone, just all video, so, and I'm gonna take anything I don't need off it, any of the pictures, I'm gonna put them up on my, if I don't have them already, and then wipe them, and then do like back to factory type feel, since all I'm gonna use it for is the camera parts. So I actually kept them, and they actually work, and I had kept them in a bag too. A zip bag, so they stayed. They've been in there years. They've been in a couple of years. So, woohoo! I did something in the past that's actually helpful, very much so now. Not only that, I've always been like, I don't take a lot of pictures and video unless something's happening at events, only because I don't want to, like, what if I use a lot and then something happens and then I don't have any more space left? You know, and you can't just be fiddling with shit, deleting stuff. So you have to, if something's going on, you got to get video started right now. So having 2 extra phones just for video and film videos and photos, probably not a bad idea. They'll be going into my, what I call my bug out bag. They'll be in that container once they're charged and in my bug out bag, and I will have a charging cord in there because they both take different charging cords. So, yeah, that's something we might need to start thinking about, like Chicago and LA have, and Portland have. I already have a gas mask, and for home defense and for my neighbor's defense, I do have a stun gun. And this I believe I can carry with me. My little buddy, my buddy the hand mace. The hand mace for the handmaiden. Yeah, I might be considered an old lady at 62, but this old bitch isn't going down easy. Fuck no. And I'm not sure these very arrogant Trump and first of all, the women, if you're getting Botox, you don't know how to fucking fight unless you're just like a little cat bitch fight. Okay? Sorry, but you don't. You can't even win a word fight. I'm not saying I'm like Kung Fu Sally. And yeah, I got a fucking wrist that does, but I gotta tell you, at a foot that's fucking bad. But I gotta tell you, the doctor never said you can't ever run. He said it's probably not a good idea because I'll be hurting for days afterwards. You know what? Joke's on them. If I have to, I'll push myself if I need to. Not a problem. I'll keep on running until the foot physically says no fucking more, and then I'll scoot. Because you do what you need to do. And a lot of people in this country are soft and have not been toughened up. And quite frankly, and I'm not saying that because I'm a progressive liberal. Quite frankly, it's the Republicans, the ones that talk big, the bullies, usually are big fucking wussies when they don't have their big daddy behind them. Talk big, puff up, peacock around, be all thuggish and threatening, and you run like a little fucking puppy when your tail's been stepped on. One harsh word, one display of the rolled up newspaper, and they go screaming and crying like little weenie babies. Because that's the bullies' mentality. And they've never cultivated the necessary communication skills of a civilized society, so they don't know how to verbally express themselves and use their big people words. They're very stunted emotionally, communicatively. Most people read on literally a 5th grade level, I believe. Literally. That is pathetic. It's not even middle school, junior high level. That's sad. And if that's your reading skills, that's your verbal skills. And that's abysmal. That's pathetic, quite frankly. So, some tips if you're an activist or if you're going to be. Yeah, I'm not happy. Power banks are not a bad idea either because power goes out or shit when shit gets bad, when they want to play with the people. At least you'll have your phones working. Until they take down the towers and shit, but I'm not sure it'll get there yet. Because that takes down their communication too. So, just if you've been doing, or I know, especially with shit that's happening, guess what? My rent also got raised $90 more a month. and my don't have my, as far as I know, SNAP coming in. So yeah, I'm being hit. Y'all know I lost my therapy when they took me from SSI to, because I turned 62, SS Social Security. Lost my therapy. So yeah, uh, they probably shouldn't be letting the liberals lose their emotional therapy, because when you push us too far, do you really want a bunch of people that might, I don't need medication, but there are people that have chemical imbalances that cause things like bipolar and shit, that they need a medication to equal it, get you the right stuff so your brain is working the way it should. You're pissing off people and taking away their ways to cope. With technology and what we do know, do you really think they're just going to turn on ourselves here and kill each other in the streets while the wealthy laugh in their gilded seats? No, 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 no. Enough of us lose our mental health therapy for long enough, and you keep pushing. Guess who's gonna get a surprise? MAG publicans. Because trust me, y'all think we're a bunch of libtards like I was starting with. You have no idea what we know. Just because we don't run around like little braggart bullies announcing doesn't mean some of us may not have arsenals. Ooh. I knew a lot of people when I was working in the prisons who had my same stance on politics, and they had fucking arsenals. I got to try a rocket launcher. Yeah. So they're all assuming if it comes to a civil war, we got them licked. You've got nothing. Licked or whipped. And your arrogance and your cockssuredness that you know who those libtards are all about. Do you remember a board game called Pull the Rug Out? You might want to look it up, because you're the mouse and we've got the cheese, and that's where the game ends.